Glad you could join us today on Earthfile. Welcome to the program. I'm Ayola Kasim. While nearly 1 billion people in the world are undernourished and millions suffer from chronic disease due to excess food consumption, roughly 1/3 of food produced for human consumption is lost or wasted. That translates into 1.3 billion tons each year, worth nearly $1 trillion. Tackling food loss and waste could make a significant contribution to combating hunger. And the issue now plays a prominent role in the debate and about feeding the growing world's population. Increasing urbanization, climate change, and land use for non-food crop production intensify the concerns of increasing food demands. In the last few decades, most of the countries have focused on improving their agricultural production, land use, and population control as their policies to cope with this increasing food demand. However, post-harvest losses, a critical issue, does not receive the required attention, and less than 5% research funding has been allocated for this issue in previous years. Approximately 1/3 of the food produced, about 1.3 billion tons, worth about $1 trillion, is lost globally during post-harvest operations every year. It also carries economic consequences, reducing the income of the world's smallholder farmers by 15% and rippling through market systems as losses for food processors, retailers, and consumers.
This is a perishable product. We don't have where to store it. When you bring it in the market, you didn't sell. That is a condemned product.
So addressing this issue is really about people. It is about the planet, but more importantly, or equally importantly, it is also about bottom lines. It's about profits. From the health and livelihoods of the world's most vulnerable people to the bottom lines of the largest multinational corporates. That's what the foregone opportunity is about. But we need also to understand that food waste and loss is really an all-inclusive problem that affects everyone in the value chain. So this is why eliminating it requires an all-inclusive solution that looks across the global food system and identify where the biggest losses occur and provide incentives for solving the problem at the root. Additionally, I need to say that despite the commitments by the global development community through the Sustainable Development Goals, particularly SDG 12.3, where there is a commitment to halve or to reduce by half food waste and loss by 2030. We have seen not enough, or would say very little, practical demonstration of how the states that have made that commitment and development partners that have made that commitment, how practically they can address the problem successfully.
Post-harvest loss includes the food loss across the food supply chain from harvesting of crop until its consumption. The losses can broadly be categorized as weight loss due to spoilage, quality loss, nutritional loss, seed viability loss, and commercial loss. Magnitude of post-harvest losses in the food supply chain vary greatly among different crops, areas, and economies.
1/3 of the food produced in the world for human consumption have been wasted. So taking into account all these factors, mostly the data that we have in hand, our head of state decided to really embed this issue of post-harvesting in the Malabo Declaration. So Malabo takes into account the issue of post-harvest. Our head of state set a goal by 2025 ending hunger in Africa.
The African Union declared 2014 as the Year of Agriculture and Food Security. The year climaxed with the adoption of the Malabo Declaration by the African Union's heads of state and government. The Malabo Declaration on accelerated agricultural growth and transformation for shared prosperity and improved livelihoods is a commitment by the AU heads of state and governments to end hunger by 2025 and reduce post-harvest losses by 50%. To operationalize the Malabo Declaration, the African Union Commission and NEPAD launched the implementation strategy and roadmap to achieve the 2025 vision on the Comprehensive African Agricultural Development Program, known as CAADP.
The 7th commitment of the Malabo Declaration is mutual accountability. All of us, we have to account. We need to account, AUC need to account, partners need to account, and our member country need to account. And in this accounting review, I mean multi-biannual review, we really have, we put on another tool, which is the scorecard. And the scorecard has a competitive component because if, for instance, let me call my country Angola, is not doing well, and Algeria, I'm not starting from the alphabetic, is doing better. So when we are going to present these reports at the summit of head of state, I'm sure my country, Angola, will not feel good if it did not meet the goal of Malabo Declaration.
It is estimated that 70 million people across 45 countries will face acute food insecurity and will require emergency food assistance this year.
One thing is for sure,